every morning. හිමිදිරියේ චමත්කාරය. හෙට උදෑසන 8ට Supreme TV බලන්න.
පොරොන්දු වෙන්නම් සංසාරේ දුකක් නම් නොදී පරිස්සම් කරන්න ඔබවමා එක්කන් යමි මේ හිරිහැර ලෝකෙන් පිටවී අපි අපිටම පමණක් අයිති නැවතුමකදී කොහේ හෝ හමුවී විඳගමු මේ ආදරේ අපි පතනා ජීවිත සමහර තැන්වල මුණ ගැවුනත් මේ ලෝකේ හැම හමුවීමම කෙලවර වන්නේ හිමිවීමෙන් නොව අවසානයේ යන්න බැරි අතක් අරගෙන ඇවිද බොහෝ දුරක් හංගාමතක හුස්මෙතියන් තනිවීම ප්‍රේමයක් අල්ලන් යන්න බැරි අතක් අරගෙන ඇවිද බොහෝ දුරක් හංගාමතක හුස්මෙතියන් තනිවීම ප්‍රේමයක් විඳගමු අපි මේ සංසාරේ පමාවේ ආදරේ රිදුම් සිනහව පාරනාසුසුම් දරාන ජීවිතේ ගිමන් මේ බවේ ඉමු අපි පේන මානයෙන් අල්ලන් යන්න බැරි අතක් අරගෙන ඇවිද බොහෝ දුරක් හංගාමතක හුස්මෙතියන් තනිවීම ප්‍රේමයක් අල්ලන් යන්න බැරි අතක් අරගෙන ඇවිද බොහෝ දුරක් හංගාමතක හුස්මෙතියන් තනිවීම ප්‍රේමයක් අල්ලන් යන්න බැරි අතක් අරගෙන ඇවිද බොහෝ දුරක් තනිවීම ප්‍රේමයක් සෙවනැල්ලත් මග හැර යන අඳුරේදිත් මාගාවින් රැඳී නුඹ හිටියද හැම සංසාරෙම මේ වාගේ මගේ ළඟටම වී ඔබ හින්දමන් ගැයුපෙම් බදන් දෝරේ ගලා ගියා දැන් නුඹෙන් මං විඳිමි හැඟුමන් මා හද නිවාලනා දවසක් නෑවි අපිත් අපේ හිනවලට යාවී ඒ හැම මොහොතේ ළඟින් නුඹ හිටියොතින් නැති දවසක් නේවි අපිත් අපේ හිනවලට යාවී ඒ හැම මොහොතේ ළඟින් නුඹ හිටියොතින් නැති ඒ ගැන මං හිතනා විට කඳුලක් මොනනව මට නොදැනිම වයින්දම ගැයුපෙම් බදන් දෝරේ ගලා ගියා දැන් නුඹෙන් මං විඳිමි හැඟුමන් මා හද නුබයිටියදම සංසාරෙම මේ වගේ මගේ ළඟටම වී දවසක් නේවී අපිත් අපේ ඉන්නවලට යාවේ හැම මොහොතේ ළඟින් නුබයිටියොතින් නැති දවසක් නේවී අපිත් අපේ ඉන්නවලට යාවේ හැම මොහොතේ ළඟින් නුබයිටියොතින් නැති
Christmas! Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Supreme TV. Live and exclusive on Supreme TV and Supreme TV YouTube and Supreme TV Facebook.
Season, but very excited to see how the game plays out, how the pitch plays, and I'm sure the players are excited to get season 2 up and running as well.
Yeah, well, it's been a wait coming. Obviously, there wasn't last year, so season 1 was 2 years ago now. So it's been a long time coming to build up to this one, and it's a nice little pre-Christmas, during Christmas actually, and it's just a Christmas tournament for us this year. It's all wrapped up.
Nice little festive treat, I guess. This is everyone's treat at the end of the year, going into Christmas and the New Year. What a better way than playing cricket and being on the cricket field. So here comes the Americans team making their way onto the field to join the batters. The Windees batters seem to be quite keen to get things going today. Out there before the fielding team had a chance to get up, they're quite eager.
Well, you know, running out there, the Windees players like to go out and get things started, one hit big. You saw the toss earlier on, and it was won by the Windees, saying that they wanted to have a bat, but actually Americans saying that they wanted to have a bowl anyway. I'm always I do question that when the captain that didn't win the toss says, oh yeah, we would have done that anyway. And you think, are you just sort of trying to blindside them a little bit?
I think captains have to sort of say that, you know, to make it, we haven't lost any advantage here, make it seem as though we haven't lost any advantage. The pitch seems to be quite a glossy one. I guess it reminds me of the likes of pitches in the Caribbean of old, in countries like Angola and Jamaica. So it'd be interesting. I'm not sure how much bounce there will be. The ball will probably skid on a bit lower to the bat, making it a bit difficult to get away with the quicker bowlers. But it'll be interesting to see how it starts out.
Yeah. Also, it's difficult to sort of gauge what kind of target they'll be looking at. You know, first game of the tournament, not played here before. Early morning, that dew is just about going away. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of score they can rack up here.
Well, we're not too far away from getting started. 2 teams that are going to set the benchmark for the tournament, the Americans and the Windees team. The team sheets for you?
The Windees team, like I say, that's defending champions. Yeah.
This is American and this is Windees.
Do you know where it's been scored?
Left-hand opener. It's what we love to see. I love seeing our left-hander up the top of the order, and we're off and away. And
wow,
bit of confusion already in the field. He was quite ready for it to come onto him like that, wasn't he?
Seemed to have a bit of an awkward bounce to the fielder. Couldn't adjust in time to stop the ball cleanly. Fumbles it, and the batters come through for 1. We have Sean Finley and looks to be Johnson opening the batting for the Windees. And Marlon Richards starting proceedings for the Americans.
Taking the time here, we've only seen 1 delivery so far. A little discussion going on between a few of the Americans and the umpire, unsure what the problem might be.
Seems to be a strange one. This game has just gotten underway, and after the first ball, there seems to be stoppage in play here. Whilst that is happening, Seems to be settling in nicely. The Windees boys are out on the balcony cheering on their batters. We've gone up to the bat for them. There seems to be a bigger dialogue taking place here now with both umpires and quite a few members of the Americans playing. So I don't know what the issue may be, but I'm sure the information will be fed back to us quite soon.
Well, it's a glorious view to look at, that one, isn't it?
It is. It's very picturesque here in Moose's Stadium, here in Houston, Texas. It's actually a good time of the year to be here in Texas as well. Obviously known for being the Lone Star State. Known to be quite a hot place as well, but it's nice and chilly. It's 10 degrees when we got here this morning.
No such thing as nice and chilly, if you're asking me.
Well,
I'm bored of chilli. I'm from England. Don't need any more chilli.
So am I. My wife said to me, I don't know what the weather is in Houston, but whatever it is, it's better than what it is in London, so
Yeah,
we're heading
well,
off.
Yes, I think you're setting the benchmark quite low there with London as your target.
Well, London is we did have a beautiful summer in London this year, to be fair. It was nice and warm, but the past week was ridiculous at best for anyone involved. Seems to be some conflict here where third umpires are involved with some officials on the boundary here, so we're just trying to get some further information and give it back to you viewers as to what's happening out there in the middle, what's causing this delay.
Well, this is how the premium Windees side line up, obviously winning the toss and deciding to bat first. Is it something you think you would have done, bat first, get out there, put a target on in the first game?
First game, not sure about the pitch conditions, anything, so I think the Americans would probably have the advantage here, being able to see what the pitch is like, assess conditions from the way the Windees go about it, and then be able to pace their chase a lot better, having more information on the conditions, the outfield, etc. So I think for mine, the Americans would be in a better position here. Having said that, the Windees have the opportunity to prove me wrong and go out and set a big total and then come and defend it. So they may be thinking first use of the pitch.
Well, it looks like they're all sorted and we're back underway. That's kept very low.
Yes, the nature of this pitch, as I said at the beginning, I don't think it's going to be a lot of bounce based on sort of that sheen that's on the pitch. You can see that the keeper and the first slip aren't very far back as well, which would suggest that the batters would be playing a lot of front foot shots here if they are going to be successful in scoring.
That's good running
that scamper through for the one. It's difficult as well, I guess, when you've had such a long pause just after the first delivery. You get out there, you get started, and then while a few things being ironed out, you sort of have to keep your concentration.
Especially with the anticipation of just getting the season under the way and guys going out to bat, wanting to sort of build that momentum. And then, as you said, after that first ball, there was such a long break. But away we go again. Things are flowing smoothly now. And Marlon Richards is in operation from the peeling end.
Well, the bowler liked it. I don't think anyone else was particularly interested.
Yeah, I think if we can have a look at that again. Didn't seem to have much going for it, that appeal, but the bowler's trying to be the first person to open the wickets accounts for this year's tournament. Unsuccessful appeal. Seemed to have hurried into Finley's pad there a bit.
Well, that was sort of, as we would say in England, swinging like a rusty gate. You know, all swing, no ding. There's another one of my favourites on that one. But it's nice to see there's sort of that intent early. You know, they're looking to try and push up that run rate. Only 2 scored so far off this first over. Seems to have been going on for a while as well. So you just want to inject that bit of something at the top of the innings.
I think Finley can sort of give himself a few overs to have a look here, especially being the first game of the tournament, not knowing how the pitch is going to play. And with the ball not getting much bounce. That's really good running here. Whilst everyone else was probably thinking about maybe going for an appeal, they've gone through for a quick single here. Might be a bit tight. Umpire's gone up to the third umpire to have a look at this.
Yeah, it's interesting because from the non-strikers, he set off at quite a pace. And like you say, he was sort of tucked up and they thought maybe they're going to go for this appeal. But I thought he'd made it home. I thought it was, like you said, really good running, but always worth a check. And you know what? The Americans, they look pretty positive about this one. They think they might have their man, you know.
And I think they may be right, judging from the batter's body language, because he seems to be walking. Well, is he walking back towards his crease, or is he making his way back towards the pavilion? I'm not sure.
Here we go. Have a look at this. Well, there's a lot of high fives going round, and so they seem pretty positive. Still waiting to hear.
Trying to get a clip of the replay here. Here we go. Oh, there's not much in that there. Batter is comfortably home by the time the stumps are broken. So a good single there by the Windees, getting some strike rotation. Not able to get any boundaries in that first over, but 3 runs on the board nonetheless.
Yeah, nice bit of footwork as well from the fielder.
I would be happy if he were my striker at Man United at the moment, because we're not scoring any goals.
I think you'd take anyone as a striker at Man United at the moment.
That is anyone but the current crop, I'd say, unfortunately.
Although I think as things that put you to sleep go, that game against Liverpool the other day was right up there. It had all the hype. But I guess as a Man United supporter, you wouldn't mind 0-0 compared to losing 7-0. So
a point in the bag is a point in the bag.
Yeah, that's true. Fair point. All right, so 1 over down. Just 3 on the board for the Windees, and we're turning to some spin.
I think this might actually be a good opportunity for the Windees to get the score pushing along here. I think the nature of this pitch, it might be easier to score against the spinners as opposed to the quicker bowlers, because you've got a bit more time to get under the ball, even though there won't be as much bounce. So let's see if there's any turn and offer for Hamza here.
Well, he's darted that one in a little bit, and they've gone up again. They're hitting the stumps again. These Americans have been working on this fielding, but there's no appeal to anyone, just found the stumps. And interesting to see Finley's opted for the removal of the helmet. Straight away, spin comes on, helmet goes off.
It's going to be a busy set of guys on the reserves bench running out the helmets.
Yeah, doing the hokey cokey with the helmet.
Every over. Seemed to be a bit of turn there as well. Came back into Finley a bit. Not much, but enough to keep the bowler interested. He's gone for a long on and a deep mid-wicket against the right-hander, which would suggest that he's not going to try and spin it too much. He's going to try and keep him tight. And he indeed does, which is pushed down to the man at long on for another single.
I'm a big fan of this American kit, I think. You know, if you're going to go American, they've gone full out for it. Maybe a few more stars on there. And that's again darted in, and the appeal, it goes up. He really likes it, the bowler. Umpire unmoved. He's finding something in the pitch here. I think, as you say, spin is going to be key. He looked to just sort of swing across the line.
Well, it's not gonna be much bouncy. I think we can pretty much confirm that from this vantage point, having had a look at the opening over and now seeing Hamza into the attack and himself also not getting much bounce. So the cross-batted shot is going to be one of extreme difficulty. I think you've got to go the full face of the bat, sort of like that. Try and hit the ball in the V as much as possible here, because you're not going to get much to work with in terms of using your arms, square of the wicket on either side.
Now that one was a little bit more there to be hit, given a bit more flight, rather than darted in like he's been doing so far. And that's up in the air, and that is going to be the first boundary of the tournament, and it's a 6.
Effortless 6. He didn't even seem to put much behind that. He's just a flick of the wrist. I thought maybe he didn't hit it well. Potential chance at mid-off, but it's the first maximum of season 2 of the American Premier League.
Yeah, a bit of a dampener on the figures for the bowler for the over. Was going along nicely, keeping it tight. And there you go. There's the running on with the helmet again. The alternation of pace and spin. Looks quite windy out there, actually. If you look at, you can see the flags in the background.
Seems to be a good breeze coming across the ground, which is always something you want as a player. When you have hot days, I'm pretty sure it would be much appreciated, most in the summer months here in Houston.
It's good pace. Beaten for pace there. But, oh no, signalled wide. Just missing his line slightly. Now, you'll know this better than me, but when you come together to form these sort of franchise teams that... Come back to that in just a minute. That's a lovely looking shot. Straight as an arrow. Goes for 4. Yeah, so when you come together, these teams, sort of coming from all over everywhere, what's it like to have to, then try and gel quickly, especially when it's like the first game of a tournament? Perhaps people you've not played with or against that much before.
Well, it's interesting in itself because we got in last night. Fortunately enough, my team, the Indians, aren't playing until tomorrow, so we sort of have today to at least, I guess, mingle with each other, as this one's been struck over the head of mid-wicket and they cross again for 2. The outfield seems to be very slow. So that's some further information that can be taken back from the Windees players here. It's not going to be much. Well, I don't think it's going to be much running from Windees players in general.
Is that just in general with Windees players of all forms?
100%. So I think there's going to be a lot of boundary striking as we see Finley going down the ground again, and the man at long on coming around doing a good job stopping this ball just inside the boundary.
Yeah, sticks out a big old boot there, doesn't he? Made a lovely noise off the bat, that one.
And this sort of accentuates my point that I made in the last over, that it's going to be a lot of straight batted shots in terms of scoring here. In the V, you could see the man at long on has now come a bit straighter because Finley has sort of hit the ball straight back over the bowler's head in the past 2 of the past 3 balls. So again, Finley goes straight back down the ground, this time on the offside. So we've had 2 boundaries and a pair of 2s in this over, all from full balls from the bowler. Finley's managed to hit them all straight back down the ground. I think the bowler needs to pull his length back here because the pitch has something in it for him when he bowls back into the pitch, making it difficult for the batters to score. If you're going to bowl that full and look to swing the ball and there's not much swing on offer at the moment, then you're going to get punished, as Finley has managed to do so far in this over.
Nicely played, but does pick out the fielder. So, yeah, dot ball would be pleased to see that as the bowler at the moment. Finally, a dot ball in this over that's already gone for, let me do some maths.
12.
12, thank you very much.
Yeah, and he's adjusted his length there, which has aided in him, I guess, being able to achieve that dot ball. Let's see if he looks to go full here again. Into the pitch, another dot ball.
Well, that closes out the third over, and the Windies, having won the toss and chosen to bat, are 25 without loss.
Good start here from the Windies after 3 overs, going in just excess of 8 and over, so they'll be happy about that. There seems to be a bowling change from this end as well. So the captain of the Americans isn't trying to let the Windies batters settle against any one particular bowler for too long.
Yeah, it's interesting that the sun is out there, the wind is up, so that early morning dew, which is why you can't start too early, obviously, out here, will hopefully be disappearing. And perhaps that outfield think will speed up throughout the day?
Hopefully. I mean, with the beautiful sunshine that we're having at the moment, it's going to warm up throughout the day. And there's a nice breeze as well, which should help to dry up conditions as it relates to the outfield, with a helicopter coming overhead to give us a bit of extra drying agent there for the field, getting rid of that dew. Change of bowler here.
The left armour comes on for his first over. Oh, some very tight trousers there.
If he had to make a wish for Christmas, I think it would be to be able to have some early inroads here for the Americans. They'd be looking for their first wicket. Obviously, the Windies are off to a good start, and so he'd want to peg them back. He's gone straight into the wicket for his first ball. Same for his second ball, and again a dot ball. So this is a good start from him.
He's just not quite reading it, is he, Aaron, out there in the middle? He's just found the bottom edge there and sort of worked it into the ground. Just not quite got his eye in yet with Sabir. And this is good. Build up those dot balls, slow that momentum. They were just building that momentum. We saw that last over. Really expensive.
This is what's needed from the Americans. Again, goes into the pitch, and again, not getting much bounce. Again, Aaron playing and missing outside. So he's sort of done the same thing on 3 occasions here this over, and the skipper of the Americans would be happy. I'm sure the non-striker Finley will have a word with Aaron at the end of the over.
Good quick running. And that's the first runs off this Sabir over.
Very quick running. Both guys from Jamaica. Sprinting between the wickets shouldn't be an issue for them at all. Land of Usain Bolt and many others, Asaf Powell.
Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price.
There you go. Keeping low, straight face presented, misfield by the bowler, which allows for a quick single through from Finley. Strike rotation. So 2 runs from the over, but it's been a very good over so far from Sabir. 5 balls gone. He'd be looking to close out the over without any further damage.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then you think, what will the captain be thinking? Because so far we've seen this rotation of bowlers and not letting them sort of find their stride against a particular bowler. But if he can keep this one really tidy, they consider, will we keep him on for a second?
Definitely, and this is what they'd be wanting, but he's not able to close out the over. He's given a bit of width to Aaron here, who's spanked it away through the cover region for 4. Lovely looking shot. Outfield seems to be a bit quicker on that side of the ground as well, so that ran away very quickly once it went past the infield. No chance of anyone cutting that off, and the Windies move on to 31 without loss after 4.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed with that. It was a nice tidy over, just the 3 singles coming from it, and to finish it with a 4. You know, you always say you try and sort of top and tail the over. You know, you want to start tidy, finish tidy, and then just give them that at the end of it. It sort of gives them that momentum going into the next. These 2 openers pushing along nicely here. 31 off the first 4.
Change of bowling again. Skipper Navin Stewart on from the peeling end into the pitch. Good dot ball fielded by the man at extra cover, who has a shot at the non-striker's end, who wasn't attempting a run. The skipper didn't seem to be too happy with that, but no further damage done.
Again, short into the pitch. It's not quite got that bounce, you know, like you were saying earlier. It's not really the pitch that's going to have much pace and bounce in it. We saw quite a few keeping low early, so he's just tried it.
He's the first one to have tried a sharp ball so far, which is interesting based on the feel he's got set, because he's got a long on and a deep mid-wicket with a square leg in the circle next to the umpire and a short fine leg and a short third man. So if the batter had played a shot there and even got a toppage or anything, it would have gone over everyone's head for 6. So I think that this bowler is one for the double bluff. Doesn't mind playing a bit of games and seeing if he can spring a surprise or 2 against his field set. Can't blame anyone for any mistakes because he's the skipper, so.
Yeah, that's true. It's his ship. He runs the ship. He sets the fields.
If anything goes wrong, he's the one that set the field.
I also think perhaps they're at that point, they do need to try something different. Like we say, already 32 on the board. And that's good quick running. Again, nicely played. Soft hands. Already 32 on the board in the 5th over. They need to try and make this breakthrough, break this opening partnership, because they're getting very comfortable out there.
I think they've managed to pull the scoring back nicely, though, the Americans. The Windies sort of got off to a relatively okay start, but they've settled down. The game has settled down on a whole. And the Americans would be happy to get out of the power play with anything under 45 on the board. Having said that, this is the first boundary coming off of Skipper Stewart's bowling. Straying down the leg side with fine leg up. Easy boundary once the batter, Finley, managed to get some bat on that.
Yeah, it's easy pickings, isn't it?
this is exactly what the batting team would want. Obviously try and sort of close out the power play overs on a high. So these next 7 balls are of extreme importance for both teams.
Well, he went for the big swing, didn't quite get a hold of it. It was short again, and he's gone to give it a big heave-ho, and it sort of plugged in the outfield, didn't it? Almost felt like it had more on it than it ended up having. Well, end of 5 overs. Windees 38 without loss. Well, that's a nice view from the drone, isn't it?
Beautiful view. You've got second ground in the back there as well. Second cricket ground with a AstroTurf wicket. And you've got lovely woodlands here in Musa.
Yeah, well, if you look at those figures, it's not really too much to write home about at the moment. Obviously, that quite expensive over really did edge up the run rate. And they are going to continue with Naveen, or Sabir even, went for 6 from his first over.
Down the leg side here, wide. The batter will feel as though he missed out on a scoring opportunity there with fine leg up and that ball beating him on the leg side, but they also managed to cross for a single, so they would have gotten 2 runs from that wide. So
now, when you do commentary on these kind of things, do you ever find yourself sort of eyeing things up and sort of taking notes as you go along, and certain players, certain things that they do, and then be like, when I play them in 3 or 4 days' time, I'm going to watch out for this and this because I've really been there and focused on it?
100%. That's definitely,
it's like spying.
One of the main factors of why I'm doing commentary here. I wanted to have a look at the conditions, obviously at the opposition team. We're playing against the Windees tomorrow morning as well, so to see what it's like for such an early start, to see what their batting is like, to see what their scoring options are.
Well, that's really well dug out. That it was full, and he's kept it out and sent it back past the bowler for 4.
Yeah, as I said earlier, there's not going to be too much huffing and puffing and running any 2s and 3s by the Windees. It's going to be some long singles or 4s and 6s. So when you're greeted with opportunities to score like that, they're going to accept them with open arms.
Not quite got a hold of that one, sort of turned his wrists over. But they'll come through for the 1. Going along nicely, these two. He's just sort of looking at the toe end of his bat. You can always tell, when you're like, oh, I'm just going to have a look at the toe end of my bat. Maybe it's something to do with that, but actually you just not timed it.
And what you can see happening in the field as well is that all the fielders from the Americans are now sitting on the edge of the circle. So the Windees batters, even off of good balls, can just drop and run and get singles. And the bad balls they put away for boundaries. Down the leg side again. Seems to be a wide, yep. And they've crossed again for a single on a wide, so they have a good understanding, these two. When it's down leg, we'll take an extra run for the wide. We'll play 2 runs for each wide instead of just the standard wide.
Yeah, it's good match awareness, that, isn't it? None of this ball watching business.
Very good match awareness. The keepers fumbled and allowed them enough time to cross, so good communication from these two who've already taken the score up to 47.
Well, it's up in the air. Fielder under it. Taken. He's gone. That's the first wicket down. Aaron, he goes. Just didn't get a hold of that, and the fielder, safe as houses, followed it, went for the hands under rather than the Aussie hands over. And that is the first wicket down. Aaron, he goes for 18.
Didn't make good contact with that at all. Sort of reminded me in the mold of that shot that he played that brought up the first 6 of the tournament. Didn't look as though he made great contact with that either, but that one travelled for 6, whereas this one spooned straight up into the air. Captain Nevin Stewart settled under it and accepted it with gleeful arms. And so Aaron is gone, and the new batsman, Gajanan Singh, has sprinted out to the middle, past the huddle of the Americans. Seemed to be very keen to get amongst the game and get himself in and hopefully have a big knock here for his team.
Yeah, he has got himself out there quickly, hasn't he? No hanging around here. So 47 on the board. Obviously, Sean at the other end going along nicely. His 22's up above that 100 strike rate. Going to want to push up further on that one as we come to the end of the power play. Just 3 balls, legitimate balls left in the power play here.
I think Windees would be the happier of the two teams so far, managing to get up to 47 in the power play, having just lost the 1 wicket, and now it's going to be up to 52. We've got 5 wides here. Oh, it's a no ball.
That's a no ball.
So
well, no ball. That's
and it's going to be a free hit as well. So Christmas indeed has come early for Gajanan Singh. First ball of a T20 tournament being a free hit.
Yeah, you'd pick that one, please. It's right on your list for Santa. I also just really want to acknowledge the signalling of the 4 had a real flair to it, didn't it? That's just not a normal 4 signal. Well, he's gone to give the big heave-ho. And actually,
he's hit it into his partner, the non-striker Zen, who was backing up and had to scamper back to his ground to not be run out by the bowler. So he wasn't able to capitalise on it and almost lost his partner.
He did, didn't he? I mean, it was all going on. That ball has had everything, really, hasn't it? It's had a no ball, it's had wides, it's had 4, it's had a free hit, missed, and almost run out your partner. We've had it all.
Well, the bowler's given him another opportunity at a free hit here. Full toss on the leg stump. Gajanan Singh accepting with glee, just lifting it over the man at short fine leg, all the way over the boundary for 6 runs.
I really enjoyed the effort by someone out beyond the boundary as well. It was about 5 metres to his right, and he made the dive. And I appreciate that effort.
And that's what we want from the fans that we have here today. Not only to enjoy yourself whilst watching the game, but to put in that kind of effort and make such a dive.
I'm here for it. And that's what I love as well. You know, we talk about cricket growing all around the world, and this tournament is sort of representative of the growth of cricket in America as well. And we talk about franchises popping up all over the place, but then we can look ahead, you know, it's not that far until LA 28 and cricket's joining the Olympics. So,
and not only LA 28, you've got the Cricket World Cup next year, joint hosted by the West Indies and the USA. So cricket it's here, and it's here to stay, and it's growing quickly.
Well, that was a fantastic diving effort. Almost the chance of a catch. I think he put it down, but
and almost
good
a chance of
recovery.
a run out. The bowler misfielded, so it's lots happening here at Musa today.
Yeah, shakes his head, disappointed with himself. Diving to the right. It's that one arm, and then as you land, when your elbow hits the floor, sometimes the vibrations of that just force it to come out your hand. But it was good recovery to then almost have the run out as well. End of the power play, 6 overs gone. Windees 59 for 1.
Definitely the happier of the two teams here after the power play stage. The Americans at one point had started to pull things back, but they lost grip of it in the last 2 overs of the power play. But now that they can spread the field, it will be interesting to see how both of these teams go about accumulating a score from the Windees' vantage point and trying to restrict the opposition from scoring from the American standpoint.
Just a bit of field placement going on, getting it right. It's a bit. Naveen comes for his second. That's just 6 off his first over, and that's clipped away for 1.
Man at deep mid wicket there, coming off the boundary very quickly, restricting them to 1, doing some good work.
It's a South African out there, isn't it? Gerard Erasmus. I think the name was a bit of a giveaway as to where he's from.
If ever there was a giveaway.
Yeah. That's nicely defended.
Stewart's into the middle of a good over here, just a single and a dot, so it's gone into the pitch again, and it's pulled out to Erasmus again at deep mid wicket, who restricts them to 1. So this has been a good over so far from Stewart, only 2 runs off 3 balls. Stewart, who's gone short again, with fine leg up, and it's gone all the way for 6.
Yeah, it just sat up to be hit, that, didn't it? And just had to help it on his way. Didn't really have to put much into it.
I think that if Stewart's gonna be bowling into the pitch like this, which he's done 3 of the 4 balls so far in this over, it would be a better option for him to bring the mid off up into the circle and send the fine leg back. Having said that, he's gone into the pitch slower this time, hasn't bounced. Singh has gone cross-batted, completely missed it, and he's gone LBW, so Stewart has had the last laugh here. And the Windees have lost their second wicket, 67 for 2 from 6.5 overs.
Yeah, well, it looks like the favour's just swinging back in the direction of the Americans at this point. 2 pretty quick wickets. Obviously, they got off to quite a fast start, finding those boundaries, rotating that strike, and then just these 2 wickets to fall, the first in the power play, the second out of it. Just going to slow down that run rate a little bit. And it's good recovery after finding the maximum. And the Americans think it could just be swinging back their way at the moment.
Well, we've got skipper Jamar Hamilton, who is a long-time teammate of mine for a domestic team in the Caribbean, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes franchise, heading out to the middle, and he has been in good form of late after the recently concluded Super 50 tournament, where we lost in the finals to the Trinidad and Tobago franchise, and then he went off and played in the US Open over in Florida not too long ago concluded, so he'd be hoping to carry on his white ball form and end off the year on a high note before returning to the Caribbean, where there's 40 cricket starting in February.
Doesn't sound too shabby if you ask me. Sounds quite nice.
Yeah, no, he's been playing well this season. It's been his best white ball season, and he's definitely carried on that form. In the US Open, had some good scores. Also did well in the minor league season here in the summer as well. I think the Atlanta Fire, if I'm not mistaken, they also went to the finals there. First ball, dot ball for him. Stewart finishes off his overs at 2 overs, 1 for 14, making a vital breakthrough. Skipper having a say on proceedings so far.
Yeah, so 67 on the board after 7 overs, going along at over 9.5. So you wouldn't be too disappointed as the Windees, but yes, those 2 wickets to fall. But as you say, Jamar Hamilton in good form, come out to the middle to join a batter that's already set, which is always nice. You know, Finley's out there, he's set, he's been there since the beginning.
What's interesting is that Finley started off quite well, but he's been kept away from the strike for a few overs now, and all the wickets seem to be falling around him on the other end, whilst he's just been standing on the non-strikers end for probably the past 2 to 3 overs. So it's going to be a start again for Finley now, as he hasn't had much of this strike.
Over starts with the wide from Abhayender Singh with his first delivery of the game, of the tournament, and that one's just into the ground and worked along the floor.
I think it's important that he goes into the pitch here. If he gives Hamilton any opportunity to free his arms over that mid-wicket boundary, he's going to be looking to either drop into the mid-wicket area and get 2s or go big there.
It's full, it's wrapped on the pad and flicked up in the air.
It's interesting as well because he's an off spinner, but he's got in a slip here. So Skipper Stewart is thinking that the only way to stop the scoring here is to continue to get wickets, which is indeed correct. And this one is keeping low, as we've seen throughout proceedings thus far, wrapping Hamilton on the pads, but not in line with the stumps, so no chance of a wicket there.
Again into the pitch and nicely worked just into the onside by Hamilton, who gets himself off the mark.
Score goes along to 70 now.
Well, that's almost a collision between the non-striker and the bowler as he tries to field off his own bowling.
There's a lot happening there. The non-striker was taking evasive action from the ball being hit back from his teammate. He also almost had a collision with the bowler, so he's done a lot of evasive work there.
Well, that's
good work here.
Almost a collision between the non-striker and the bowler as he tries
the Americans
to field
going into
off
the pitch to
bowling.
Finley, not giving him any width as well. So he's trying to get onto the ball.
Was taking evasive action from
not
the ball
much to work with. Not
his
teammate having the bat speed to get
also
onto the ball as well. So he's done a lot of evasive work there.
Yeah, so 8 overs gone. Finley's still there at the beginning. Just the 2 wickets to fall around him, both for 18.
The Americans going into the pitch to Finley, not giving him any width as well. So he's trying to get onto the ball, but
and it's
not much to work with. Not having the bat speed to get
joined Finley
onto
out in
the
the
ball
middle
as well. So
and we continue with left arm spin. Nice looking sweep. So 8 overs quick running between the wickets again. I mean, Finley's very tall there at the beginning, so he does eat up the yards to fall around him. Both for 18, just slightly different with the strike rates there.
He's quite a quick mover, Finley.
And it's Captain Hamilton.
For what would have probably been a tight single with other players.
Finley out in the middle.
Choosing to
and we continue with left arm spin.
Continue with the slip as well.
Looking sweep and good quick running between the wickets again. I mean, he's very tall, so he does eat up the yards between the sticks. It's been done by a turn there.
Finley. Well bowled, giving him a bit of flight, but taking it wider from the batsman, asking him to try and reach for the players. Captain choosing one a bit flatter and faster into the big slip as well.
He's not quite timing it. Yes, he's been out there since the middle, but he's never looked overly comfortable. You know, you don't just assume that he's found his flow now. He's still trying to find it a little bit. He's not quite timing it, not quite finding the middle of the bat.
Well bowled, giving it a bit of flight, but taking it wider from the batsman, asking him to try and reach for the ball.
Muscle the ball here.
This one a bit flatter, as you see, faster into the pitch. This one down to long off for another single.
He's not quite timing it. Yes, he's been out there since the middle, but he's never looked
much to
overly
work with in
comfortable.
terms
You
of
don't just
bounce or
assume that
assistance
he's
from
found
the
his
pitch
flow now.
to
He's
allow him
still
to play that type
trying
of
to find it a
game.
little bit. He's
Having
not
said
quite
that, he's
timing it,
gone
not
long
quite
under
finding the
this
middle
one.
of the
ball has
bat.
given him a bit of air to
It's
work
not a
with, and
pitch
he's
where
gotten
you
under
can
this one and lifted it over the head
sort
of
of
long off
muscle
for
the
six.
ball.
Six
I
more
think you have to
runs
stroke it
to the
as you see
Americans.
Hamilton
Finley
pushing this one down to long
finally
off for
getting
another single.
rid of the
Finley's been
shackles
trying
and
to
powering this one
power hit
over
the ball, but he's not
the head
getting
of the man at long on out there.
Yeah, that
Much
went a
to
very
work
long
with in
way,
terms
and
of
he was
bounce or
definitely not
assistance
in the
from
need
the
of running. He
pitch
just
to
watched
allow
it
him to play that type
soar
of
over the
game.
boundary.
Having
And
said that,
actually, I
he's
think it
gone
went
long
over the
under
hoardings
this
as
one.
well
The ball has
behind
given
that.
him
The
a
advertising
bit of air
hoardings. So
to
it was a
work
bit
with,
of
and he's gotten under this one and lifted it over
a
the head
game
of
of an
long on
American
for
having
six.
to go
Six
and
more runs
locate the ball.
to the Americans. Finley finally getting rid of those shackles and powering
down
this
to
one
79
over
for
the
2
head of the
now
man at
from
long on out there.
Yeah, that went a
8.5.
very long way, and he was definitely
Finley
not
again
in the
goes
need
over
of
the
running.
head
He
of
just
the
watched
bowler,
it
the man at long
soar
off,
over
coming
the
around and
boundary.
doing some
And
very
actually,
good
I
work
think it
there.
went over the hoardings as well behind that.
Managed to
The advertising
keep it
hoardings.
in
So it was a bit of
the
a game
field
of an
of
American
play
having to
and
go and
restrict the
locate
batters
the
to
ball.
1 run. So very good work there by the man at long on.
Yeah, that closes
Scores
out
moved
the
on
ninth
to
over.
79 for 2
West
now
Indies,
from
the Windies,
8.5.
80 for 2.
Finley again goes over the head of the bowler, the man at long
Seems
off,
to be a
coming around and doing
substitute
some
fielder.
very good work there.
It's not a substitute.
Managed to
fielder,
keep
seems
it
to be
in the arrival and introduction
play
and restrict the batters
Sheldon
to 1
Cottrell.
run. So very good work there by the man
To
at
the
long
game.
on.
Yeah, that closes
Don't
out
know
the ninth
what's
over.
happened there, but
West
he's
Indies,
now
the
on
Windies,
field
80
at
for 2.
the long off boundary. Seems to be a bit chilly.
Substitute fielder.
Trying to keep himself warm.
It's not a substitute.
The best way
fielder,
to do
it
that, I
seems
would
to
say,
be.
is to go and have a bowl, Sheldon. The
That's-
arrival and introduction. Got 5 voids here. Sheldon Cottrell down the leg
the
side.
game.
Keeper wasn't able to get across
know
in time.
what's happened there, but
and
he's
now on the field. Score races along to 85 for 2 from 9 long off boundary. Seems to be a bit chilly. Trying to keep himself warm.
Yeah, Sheldon Cottrell just down
The
in
best
front
way
of
to
us,
do that, I would
jumping
say,
up
is
and
to
down
go
on
and
his
have a
feet, getting
bowl,
himself
Sheldon.
warm. I mean,
As
you're only 9 overs late.
We've
You've
got
got
5
time to
voids
warm up.
here.
That's nicely played. A little bit of
Down the leg
hesitation.
side.
There's a chance of a run
Keeper
out.
wasn't able to get across in time, and
Yeah, he's gone.
score
Well, there really
races
was,
along
wasn't
to
it? There wasn't a run
85
there.
for 2 from
And I
9
think
overs. That
Yeah, Sheldon
was
Cottrell just
too
down in front of
close
us,
to
jumping up and down
the
on his feet,
wicket
getting
keeper
himself
who
warm. I mean, you're only 9
scampered from
overs
behind
late.
the
You've
stump,
got time
picked
to
up
warm up. That's
and threw the
nicely
stumps
played. A
down
little
at
bit
the
of
strikers' end.
hesitation.
Jamal
There's a chance of a
Hamilton
run out.
wasn't anywhere in the picture, and he's
suicidal.
gone run out for 3.
Yeah, he's gone. Well,
So-
it really was, wasn't it? There wasn't a run there. And I
The
think
Americans today have been very good at hitting the stumps. Most
have,
of the
haven't
times
they?
that
Yeah,
were close
done their
to
target
stumps.
practice.
The wicket keeper who
So I think
scampered
that
from behind the stump. Windees team should take cue from
and
that
threw
and
the
know
stumps
that
down at the strikers' end.
it's
Jamal
not
Hamilton wasn't
anywhere
one
in the
fielder
picture,
in
and
particular, but
he's gone
as a
run out for
collective
3. A good
So-
fielding team, the Americans, and so the Americans
want to
today
push
have
them
been very
unnecessarily.
good at hitting the stumps, especially when
They
you're
have,
getting
haven't they?
that
Yeah,
squaring up.
done their
You just
target
had
practice.
5
And
wide to start
so I
the
think that the
over, and Windees
you're
team
already
should
85
take cue from that and know that for 3 now.
from 9
It's not
overs.
any one fielder in particular, but as a collective, a good fielding team, the Americans, and so
seems to be
you don't want to push them
a drinks break.
unnecessarily, especially when you're getting
Everyone's
scoring
leaving
options.
the
You've just had
field.
5 wide to start the over, and you're already 85 for 3 now from 9 overs.
Well, the American side seem to have decided that they're off to have a drink, but the umpires are now calling
Seems
them
to
back,
be
and
A drinks break.
the Windies batters are out
everyone's
there
leaving the field.
just waiting in the middle. Jonathan Foos come out to the middle. He's just having a shadow hit, but this was that run out. Really quick work. Turn and throw.
Well, the American
off balance
side
seem to have decided that they're off to have a drink
out by miles.
But the
That's
umpires
really good
are now
work.
calling them back, and
He's taken 3 steps from behind the stumps,
the Windies
turned,
batters are out
threw
there
it all in the same motion.
just waiting in the middle. Jonathan Foos come out to the middle. He's just having a shadow hit, but this was that run out. really quick work. Turn and throw, off balance. I mean, he's
So the
out by miles.
strategic
really good
timeout
work.
here
He's taken 3 steps from behind
has
the
been
stumps,
taken, turned a bit earlier,
throw it all
and
in the
over
same
earlier
motion.
than planned, in alignment with the fall of the wicket of the Windees skipper, Hamilton.
Now, I went to see Hamilton, the play on stage in London last week, so now all I can hear,
Strategic
and
timeout
I'm
here
really having to stop myself starting singing, because it's not something
has been
anyone needs to
taken
hear, whatever time of day it is where you're
a bit
tuning in
earlier and
to
over
this
earlier
American
than
Premier
planned,
League. But I hear Hamilton, and I'm
in
really having
alignment
to
with
not
the
sing,
fall
and
of the
you
wicket
don't need
of
it. Maybe
the
later,
Windees
maybe I'll
skipper,
save it for another day
Hamilton.
when you're not stuck next to me. If you're playing, then you won't have to listen to it. Now, I went to see Hamilton, the play on stage in London last week, so now all I can hear, and I'm really having to stop myself starting singing, because it's not something anyone needs to hear, whatever time of day it is where you're tuning in
The American team
to this American Premier League. But I hear Hamilton, and I'm really having to not sing, and you don't need it. Maybe later, maybe I'll save it for another day when you're not stuck next to me. If you're playing, then you won't have to listen to it.
to the middle, yet to face.
And he's
I'm
there
really trying
alongside
not to
Sean
sing,
Finley,
basically.
going along
Maybe that's
nicely,
just the
his
excitement of the
32 off
cricket, who
30.
knows?
But it looks like things are about to get
And the
back
Windees
underway. Up to 85 for 3.
The American team
inside.
I'm
Excited
10
to say
overs.
are all still on the field. So that's tick box 1. Jonathan Fu has come out to the middle, yet to face, and is there alongside Sean Finley, going along nicely, his 32 off 30. That's given a bit of flight, and up to 85 for 3, just inside 10 overs by Finley. By Fu with his first delivery he's faced today, as he surveys the field. Still that right hand, left hand combination with Finley out there. That's given a bit of flight and dug out. They've thought about running by Finley. There's another bit of football footwork
his
going
first
on
delivery
by his
he's
American
faced
fielders today,
lots of confusion out there. The
as
Americans
he
are
surveys the field.
putting a strong
Still that
hold
right
on this
hand,
game
left
with
hand
their
combination with
disciplined
Finley out
fielding
there.
that's clawing them back into the game. This has been a good over
Well,
so
they
far.
thought about running. He's bowling with a bit more pace. There's another bit of football footwork going on by these American fielders.
Seems to be a lot more comfortable. Confusion out there. The Americans are the right-hander than the left-handers, putting
Yeah,
a
and he's
strong
sort of
hold on this
darting it
game
in
with
at
their
Fu, isn't he?
disciplined fielding,
quick
that's
leg
clawing them
spinners
back
that
into the game.
aren't spinning too
This
much
has been
wicket
a
to wicket.
good over so far, asking the batter to take
He's bowling with a bit
chances
more pace, I find.
from balls in
Sort
line
of
with the stump. Seems to be a lot more comfortable. Fu works it away through mid-wicket here for a single to end the over. Right, just 6 from it, and a wicket. Good over for them.
Yeah, and he's sort of darting it in at Fu. Yeah, didn't start well at
Some
all with the
quick
5
leg
wides that over,
spinners
but
that
backed up with the wicket.
aren't spinning too
And
much
halfway
wicket to
through
wicket,
their innings, the
asking
Windees
the
find
batter to
themselves
take
86 for 3.
chances from balls in line with the stump.
The plane flies overhead, and it's
Fu
still
works it
very
away through
windy
mid-wicket
out
here
there. You
for a
can see the
single to end
flags
the over. Just 6 from it,
fluttering
and a
away.
wicket.
And
Good over for them.
more than a breeze. Yeah, it didn't start well at all with the 5 wides
Cottrell
that
being
over, but backed
introduced
up with the
into
wicket.
attack.
And halfway through their innings, the Windees find themselves 86
Nice
for
pair
3.
of bright orange boots he's got on.
Santa has come early with the orange
The
boots.
plane flies overhead,
fits
and it's
in
still
with
very
the-
windy out there. You can see the
colours
flags
of
fluttering away.
Houston,
and
so
it's
Cottrell
more
sort
than a
of
breeze.
matched accordingly for the Houston colourway.
You've got
with his orange
Sheldon
boots.
Cottrell
I know that
being
my
introduced
wife
into the attack.
is quite a big fan of orange. Her and her friend Andrew. Andrew, I'm not sure if you're listening, but
Nice pair of bright orange boots
they've had an
he's got on.
orange theme joke happening for the past
Santa
month. So Cottrell's come early
must
with
have
the
been
orange
informed
boots.
of
It fits in
of
with
the
the
orange and taken cue.
I
the
love a bit of
colours
orange.
of
Anything that makes me look
Houston,
slightly
so
more
Cottrell
tanned,
sort of
and
matched
I'll wear it.
accordingly for the Houston colourway with his orange boots. I know that my wife is
Been all
quite a
about the
big
pink
fan
this
of
year, though,
orange.
with the Barbie theme,
Her
which
and her
I admit I
friend
did
Andrew.
watch
Andrew,
again
I'm not
on
sure
the
if you're
flight
listening,
yesterday.
but They've had an orange theme fortunately happening for the past month, so Cottrell's here today. Must have been informed of the orange and taken cue.
I love a bit of orange. Anything that
I
makes
don't know
me
if there
look
was ever a
slightly
cricket
more
Ken or a
tanned,
cricket.
and
We need a
I'll
cricket
wear
Barbie.
it.
Why is there no cricket Barbie?
Mattel, if you're listening, make it happen. It's been all about the pink this year, though, with the Barbie theme, which I admit I did watch again on the flight yesterday. Well, Jonathan Fu, just the one from his 5 so far, and Cottrell kicks up his heels at the top of his mark. Well, he's not timed that. He's found the under edge and almost played onto his own stumps, but they come through for the 1. There's another set of orange boots there, actually.
Quite a few pairs out there. The batter, Finley's also in a pair of orange boots. So everyone's come with
a bit of flair.
A bit of flair, understanding that the tournament is taking place in Houston, and that is a colour of choice for the city.
Good start this from Cottrell. He's got his pace early. That high delivery stride that he has, he sort of skips up really high in the air.
Someone of his experience as well. Hasn't taken much for him to see that he needs to go into the pitch, bowl the ball back of a length and not give the batter much to work with, and he's done that on 3 occasions now into the pitch. And he's got a strong field set to support this type of bowling as well. As I mentioned, when the skipper Stewart was bowling, to probably have the mid-off in the circle instead of long off, Cottrell has gone with that option, and he's got a 3rd man and a sweep on the offside with a long on, deep mid-wicket and deep backward square. And he's been very disciplined to that as well. Again, going into the pitch for a 4th ball in a row.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll mind the ones.
This is where Cottrell's experience is going to be invaluable for the Americans, because obviously having lost 2 wickets quickly there in past few overs, the Windies are trying to rebuild their innings, and to get away with a few overs here quickly is going to be very, very valuable for the Americans.
Oh, it's got to go back and start that one again. Yeah, this has been a good first over from Sheldon Cottrell. Get that squeeze on, make them then feel like they have to start making something happen. Yes, Finley's been out there since the middle, but he has slowed down. He's going at 100 strike rate. Jonathan Fu yet to find his rhythm. Just the 3 from 7 for him so far, and just the 3 coming from this first Cottrell over.
This is a run-out opportunity. The wicketkeeper misses. Great opportunity there. Finley got wrapped on the thigh pad, just took off running, didn't know where the ball went. Keeper scampered across quickly. Brilliant work. Only thing missing was for him to hit the target. Had a bit more time than he probably thought there. He could have gathered himself, because Finley didn't try to even get back into his crease. He was that far down. He stood and looked with his fate in the wicket-keeper's hands, and fortunately for him, the keeper missed the stump, and he lives to fight another day. But
yeah, well, we saw him with that run out earlier, didn't we, to get rid of Hamilton. Absolutely fantastic bit of work, off balance, came out from behind the stumps, and absolute screamer of a run out. This one was slightly more regulation, but like you say, he perhaps went a bit too early, had more time than he realised he did. He had a chance to get himself set. He had all 3 stumps to aim at.
Full works this away into the short square leg area. The man from the 45 runs around and picks it up. Another single. Score moves on to 91 for 3 here.
I was just having a look at Sheldon Cottrell out in front of us. He looked like he was just shaking his leg a bit at the end of that last over, but he seems all right.
Fast, full, wide, mixing it up here. Just a bit too wide, but not trying to give the batter in Finley too much of the same thing. Finley's strike rate has come down to exactly 100 now, so that reflects as to how much control the Americans bowlers have had on proceedings of the past 4 to 5 overs.
Well, Hamza really liked that, didn't he? I mean, I think he was pretty much the only one went up for it, but there was a repeating call, and there's now a wry smile on the face of the bowler.
Yeah, I think Hamza was the only one in all of most of that like that.
That's darted in, and they'll just come through for the one. Yeah, like I was saying, Sheldon Cottrell looked like he was just sort of shaking his leg a little bit. Don't know what he might have done in that over. I don't know. I think he's just getting into the rhythm a bit. He seems absolutely fine now. Looks like he's just got cold hands.
Not sure he's had a chance to warm up. He's just come straight onto the field, and here's a wicket. Hamza liked this one as well. Jonathan Fu coming forward, being wrapped on the pad. Straight on, not much spin on offer here, and the Windies are falling away. The Americans are coming back into it. Wicket to wicket stuff. You miss, I hit.
Yeah, it's really good work that by Hamza. He was the only one appealing really again there, but the umpire was convinced. And actually, yeah, really good. 4 wickets down now. This American side, obviously the Windies got off to that hell of a start. And they've been dragged back. Some economical bowling, wickets falling at regular intervals now. And that'll bring Raj Nanan out to the middle.
The Americans will be definitely happier of the two teams at the moment, striking regularly, restricting the scoring. And the Windies will need a partnership from these two left-handers at the crease at the moment. Ideally for them, this is the pair that they would want to spend some time out there as well, to navigate Hamza, the left-arm spinner, and Cottrell, the left-arm seamer. Sort of set a platform. If these two can bat for another four overs, set a platform for the end. If they can get them up to 120. Having said that, Raj Nanan has heard my calls.
Well, that is one way to get off the mark, isn't it?
He's heard my calls and said, none of that. That's not happening today. First ball over, wide long on for 6. What a way to get off the mark and announce yourself. Raj Nanan is here.
Yeah, hello American Premier League. Look what I can do from ball 1.
Raj, you needed the game to start a bit earlier. The IPL auction was just a bit earlier than that first ball 6.
Well, that was a good recovery, the final ball. So the last 3 balls of that over. Wicket, 6, dot. It's got it all. So end of 12. The Windies 99 for 4. I really like what I'm liking seeing as well. Yes, obviously teams playing against each other, but there's a lot of fist pumping and handshakes and sort of hellos going on out there. You know, there's players that have seen each other around the world or around different places for a long time, and then they're out there playing against or with each other. So it's, yes, competitive, but all played in very good nature at the same time.
The camaraderie seems to be of the highest standard here. fair play awards, both teams would be very high ranking at the moment, which is good. You always want the game to be played competitively, but in good spirits. Cottrell goes short and he hits him. He's hit Finley here. I'm not sure. Yes, he's been hitting the helmet.
Yeah, helmet's coming off.
The game seems to be carrying on. I know that the physio should be running on and doing a concussion test. That was quick and short. Before Finley could get through his shot, Cottrell was onto him, hit him in the helmet. Need to have him checked out.
Yeah, nasty. I wouldn't want to be on the other end of that one. I'd be ducking and lying on the floor.
I think that was a surprise as well, as Cottrell's first over was mostly solid length ball, so wouldn't be expecting anything like this.
He comes up with the wide down the leg side. Interesting as well, because we were saying how we weren't seeing too much coming out of the pitch, but Cottrell found something there and he got that bounce. He's not a short player, and he's managed to wrap him on the head.
Shot from Rajnanan going out to mid-off here. Man moving around quickly, restricting them to a single.
Yeah, I've been impressed by the fielding so far. The Americans actually seem really on it.
This has been a great fight back for them. We'll be trying to restrict the Windees to...
Well, that has gone miles.
The impressive thing about that is Cottrell beat him through the ear with the slower ball, and he's just taken his bottom hand off the bat, and he's completely cleared the ground with a one-handed six. Beautiful shot by Sean Finley here. Over the man at long on. Oh, over the man at long on for six.
He's let go of it as well, gone one-handed.
This one beats him on the outside edge through to the keeper.
The left armour to left-hander. Just tucks him up a little bit for room, manages to get away and scamper through for the one.
Score moves on to 109.
Yeah, short again. Well kept down by Nanan.
Good work from Cottrell here. His 2 overs going for 13 runs. Take away that 6. It shows you how consistent he's been in restricting the batters from having too many scoring opportunities. So
you feel that just breaking up this partnership, and the Americans would really feel that they were on top. We've seen both of them can hit big, and sort of once you get them 5 down, you start heading towards that lower order. They feel they can really keep them to something.
the key for this match seems to be held by Sean Finley at the moment. He's been that one constant throughout the innings for the Windees team.
And it's interesting as well because it's like we were saying earlier, he's not actually looked particularly comfortable at times, but he's there and he's stayed and he's still working it away. And that actually, straight as an arrow, is going to be another 4 to his bank.
That has been powered down the ground. As again, as you said, it hasn't looked as fluent as Finley would have probably wanted, but he's somehow managed to find a way to score, which is the most important thing, and he's sticking around, he's helping to put up a fist and make a good scoring option here for the Americans, with a new interesting fielding position there. The skipper Stewart just standing on the circle behind the bowler for Finley. Finley moves on to 47.
Just the one. Well, the Windees are the defending champions in this tournament. They won the inaugural series 2 years ago, back in 2021. Seems a long time ago now, doesn't it? We're on the precipice of 2024 here. That's just into the body.
It's missed out there, full toss on leg, no one behind square inside the circle on the leg side.
Slightly short and just over the leaping salmon.
That interesting field position there has almost brought about a wicket. That man standing on the circle behind the bowler's head. Man at long on, running around, diving and pulling it back in. So he's restricted them to 2. Finley on to 49. And score on to 115.
And so 6 overs left in the game. Windees 117 for 4. They have got Finley out there eyeing up a half century. The left-handed opener. Rajnanan, well, he came out and he stamped his authority on ball 1, didn't he? Launching it for 6 over long on. He's been kept quiet since then, but he's also not really had a lot of the strikes. Only faced 5 deliveries.
Will be interesting to see how the next 6 overs play out. What would be in the minds of the Windees team as a good score here? Likewise, what would be in the minds of the Americans team here as a good score to defend the Windees turn and try and restrict them?
Well, he comes down the pitch, goes high, and 2 fielders come together. It's a bit of a misfield, but they do prevent the boundary. And I mean, there's laughs from the bowler. He's finding it funny.
Well, that was a slower ball, if I've ever seen a slow ball before. That one took quite a bit of time to get to the batter, who even advanced down the track there.
Very short, and it's found the top edge. It'll land safe, and it just plugs. It's still plugging. We mentioned this slow outfield earlier, but that's just not gone anywhere.
And that brings up the 50 for Sean Finley. First 50 of season 2 of the APL. Well played to Sean Finley. 50 off 45 balls. Giving his team a foundation to work from.
Well, Nanan joins the party again. 1 bounce 4. Takes on the pace.
Nanan's hitting the ball beautifully here. He seems to be the only batter that's come to the crease that has just found that level of timing and power, that's been able to find that combination of the two and get the ball away freely. He's down the track this time. He's got a glove on it, but the keeper's dropped it. Dropped down the leg side from Nanan, who's being hitting the ball well, but decided to come down the track this time and almost lost his wicket there.
Shortish again. Arms go up, appeal goes up, finger goes up. Celebrations all round. Rajnanan struck on the pad, and he's got to go for 13.
Rajnanan with an enterprising wicket here. Enterprising innings, sorry. Had a bit of everything there from Rajnanan. Impactful innings. Possibly the one that sort of ignites the rest of the innings for the Windees team. That one didn't bounce at all. Cross seam rolled his fingers over it as well, the bowler. Didn't get up, hit Rajnanan right in front of the middle stump. So he's gone for 13 from 9 balls. Now we have Terence Hines coming to the wicket.
Yeah, second wicket for Naveen. Inside 3 overs. Well, we talked about breaking that partnership. And perhaps not quite the one they would have wanted, but they'll take either. And they've really slowed down these Windees batters. Some good work in the field, some tidy bowling. And it's one of my favourite scores at the moment. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 to come in this, the 15th over. It's Terence Hines. Adjust his gloves and as a boogie.
Terence Hines can be a dangerous ball striker, and the Americans would want to get rid of him as quickly as possible, and they have 1 ball. So skipper Nevin Stewart, also a fellow Trinidadian, would have done his homework on Terence Hines. Goes pace off again.
Yeah, you miss, I hit. And
wicket to wicket stuff here. You miss, I hit. And he's been hitting.
Yeah, well, end of 15 overs. Terence Hines, he comes and he goes very quickly. The Windees, 123 for 6. Well, when Naveen comes back on again to bowl, because that was the end of his over, he'll be opening up the over on a hat-trick.
Well, you've got Hayden Walsh Jr. coming to the wicket here. Again, another long-term teammate of mine for our regional team, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. He was actually the MVP of the recently concluded 50-over tournament in the Caribbean. Lots thought that he would have been reselected to the West Indies limited overs teams. Not to be quite yet, let me say. Joint leading wicket taker with Sunil Narayan, I think 20 scalps apiece. 200 plus runs at an average of 40 plus, and probably joint best fielder in the Caribbean with Fabian Allen.
So not a bad person to have on your side then.
Correct. There is nothing that he doesn't do on the cricket field, and good person as well. Very nice guy to be around. Actually, my roommate, so. Finley goes bang into the leg side. I'm going to take matters into my own hands. Full toss on the hips. 6 more to Finley. He's been the batter that's been in from the start of the innings. I'm not sure.
I think it's a belated half-century celebration.
Yeah, his teammates seem to have forgotten to celebrate the 50, so now they'll celebrate him on 56. Nonetheless, he's going to be an important cog in whatever end result score the Windees get up to here. He goes down the ground, just clearing that man at short mid-on as well. So taking matters into his own hands here, Finley.
Yeah, and I think that's the right approach at this. You know, only 4 and a bit overs to go. They've still got 4 wickets in the hut, and yes, his time's not look comfortable, but he is the set batter, and he needs to take on these bowlers if they really want to try and push up to sort of that 150 and beyond. And I think the game at the moment should be get him on strike.
100%, and exactly what Hayden Walsh does off of the first ball he's faced. He's pushed it out to the man on the cover boundary for a single, brings Finley back into strike. Heavy outfield. Finley gets an outside edge just over the man at point. Doesn't run away too far, so he's only able to collect a single.
That's well dug out along the ground. And again gets Finley back on strike.
Finley seems to be in the mood of trying to take on the leg spin here. Goes hard down the ground to long off, but Sheldon Cottrell is in the way and stops it from going to the boundary. So just another single, which closes out the over on 134 for 6 with 4 overs left. Finley on 59 and Hayden Walsh Jr. on 2.
Yeah, well, that's the story of the day so far. The standout batter, by no doubt, Sean Finley. And now he's just being kept company by Hayden Walsh Jr., who just has to get Finley back on strike as they try and push up towards sort of 150. But also interesting that 17 extras in there. That's something the Americans might want to have a look at and have a think about.
There's not been many other contributions. Having a look at the scorecard here, just 3 other batters along with Finley getting into double figures and extras being the 4th. So the Americans have had a very good day today with the ball, all told, when you add in that the extras are 17, because if you take away that 17 runs and the start that the Windees had, it would have been a different game completely. So the Americans will be looking to close out here, and if they can, they'd definitely like to get another 4 wickets. The Windees, on the other hand, trying to score as many as possible. Finley goes down to long off. The guy comes around.
Yeah, it's well fielded actually in the end there. He sort of almost ran past it, wrong-footed himself, and it was hit with quite some oomph.
Marlon Richards, that is, seems to be signalling that the ball was snaking a bit in the outfield, but managed to hold on to the tail of the snake, stop it from going away from him. Hayden Walsh Jr. dropping it into mid-wicket, getting Finley right back on strike.
Yeah, doing exactly what he needs to do. That's his job right now. Take the ones. Well, Finley could be eyeing up a red inker here if he carries on the same way. That's nicely defended. So 136 up on the board. At a time it looked like 160 might have been on for this Windees side at the beginning if they carried on in the same vein they started with, but have been pegged back massively by this American side. And Finley looks like he's struggling a little bit out in the middle. Not sure if it's a bit of cramp or just because he's been out there quite a while, as he looks to club that one away, and it'll just be the one into the leg side as square leg comes around and does the fielding. But glorious day here at the Moser Stadium in Texas. And 2 left-handers out there with the bat in the middle. Yeah, good tidy over. Well, that's 4 overs done for Naveen. He picks up 3 for 23. Not a bad day at the office for him. Just 3 coming off his final over. So at the end of 17, 3 overs to go. The Windees 137 for 6. Now there's just a few discussions out in the middle of who's going to take on the final 3. Another wicket would be absolute gold dust for this American team. Break this partnership. If they can get rid of Finley, then they'll be feeling pretty good about keeping them down to something chaseable. Yeah, look at that. The opening partnership, almost a half century, and then wickets falling at fairly regular intervals. That 2 in 2 balls. The most recent of those, and looks like Sheldon Cottrell's going to have a change of ends. The West Indian international playing for the Americans against the Windies. Just adjusting his field. Still the breeze. Well, that has come out the hand, not how he intended, and that will be signalled wide. Just got stuck in the hand of Sheldon Cottrell. He turns, he jumps, and he goes straight away. And that's clubbed back past him up to the fielder at mid-off. Good recovery, kept it wide. Well, it's up in the air. Fielder coming in, can't get there, just the one bounce. But they're taking the aggressive route now. They know they're coming towards the end of this first innings, these Windies batters. Well, Sean Finley, been out there since the beginning. 62 from 54 for the left-handed opener. And that's short, and that's hit back again past the bowler up to mid-on. Long on, I should say. And good bit of work in the field, applauded by Cottrell, the bowler. Cottrell again over the wicket. Well, that's skewed up in the air. It's gone to deep backward square leg, and it's deep third man even, and it's sort of skewed at a strange angle. Had a bit of spin on it. He didn't know where it had gone. The fielders didn't know where it had gone. And it landed safe in the end and was picked up in the field. And they come back for 2. Again, looks to club it into the leg side. Well, Sheldon Cottrell's finding something funny. He's a bit of a chuckle from the bowler. Again, short, mistimed. Well, that 150 is very much looking on the cards. 18 overs gone, 2 to come. Windies 145 for 6. And Sean Finley is the man of the moment at the moment. 64 from 56 for him, accompanied by Hayden Walsh with his runner ball 7. 2 overs still to come. Well, Well, Sabir Rabi's picked up the 1 wicket so far from his 2 overs. He's going to take the important penultimate over, the 19th, the crucial 19th over for the Americans, hunting down another wicket. It's been a change of decision. It won't be him. So Gerard well, he's having a good day. Gerard Erasmus giving us a thumbs up. Swing and a miss. Well, Marlon Richards yet to pick up a wicket today. He's got the chance now. He's been given the honour of the 19th over. Gone for just 15 so far. That's not timed, and are they going to come back for the 2? Yeah, it's good running in the end, easy as you like. Sheldon Cottrell flings it in. Marlon round the wicket, and that's well kept out. And good running again. This has been really good running from this Windees side as we push towards the end of this innings. $148 on the board. Still 9 legitimate deliveries to come. Well, he used his feet, he comes down the pitch and he swings through, he swings hard. And he looked like he was going to get 4 for that, but really quick work out in the field to cut it off before it reached the rope. And that's Sabir Ali out there. Two to come in this over, 4 so far from it. No boundaries is always a good sign at this point, and that'll just be 1. The Americans just trying to get this squeeze on, give themselves the momentum. If they can find a wicket, they'll get that momentum as they go into their batting, go into it feeling good, feeling strong, feeling unified as a team. Perhaps the smiliest man on the field at the moment, Gerard Erasmus, every time the camera finds him. Well, that's gone up very, very high. The fielder is in, should take it, and he's missed it. He's dropped it, put it down. Well, that would have been that momentum booster for the Americans just as they come towards the end of this innings, and that would have been Marlon's first wicket of the day. But as it stands, Sean Finley survives. And that brings up the 150 for the Windees. 150 for 6, having won the toss and elected to bat, the defending champions. So just 6 deliveries to come. What can they make from these final 6? Sean Finley, he's been out there since the beginning. And he swings, and that's gone up in the air. Sheldon Cottrell won't make the ground. but it'll just be the one. Well, you can see what the intent is in this final over. Just swing hard, make contact, and get your skates on. They look a very smiley bunch, the Windees players out to the left of me on their benches. Grins all round, and rightly so. And again, big swing. And wide long on comes out and does the fielding. Again, just the one. And you wouldn't mind this as an American. Well, this was the missed opportunity. Skewed and it went so high it's almost taking out the drone. Just didn't get himself set too far forward. And it ended up soaring over his head. Short. Clubbed away, one hand on the bat. Fielder comes around, takes the catch. Well, it's been a phenomenal innings from Sean Finley. He came out to open, but he has to go. Sacrificed himself at the end, trying to boost those runs for his side, and he goes for 69. And it was a masterful display. He's helped get his team up to a pretty competitive total. He sort of took one hand off the bat there, didn't quite get it, and it was well fielded in the end. Two hands above the head, and he lifts his bat as he crosses the rope, and he's applauded by Sheldon Cottrell as he passes him. So 3 deliveries to come. Windees 153 for 7.
Sort of in the ballpark area of what I had in the back of my mind would be a good score on this pitch based on, I guess, how the pitch is playing and the outfield. So that 160 region is being put out there to the rest of the teams as sort of a, not necessarily a safe score, but a score that you can have a chance to win the match with, and so other teams will be taking note of this. You can see some American players walking around in the stands on the far end.
And I think especially because they haven't really had it all their own way, these batters, and they've still managed to make the 153. And that's good running again, good awareness from the non-striker. Yeah, they started really strong and then pegged back, those wickets falling. Good fielding by this American side. But yeah, the Windees still up to 154 with 2 to come. So you're sort of thinking any total, you want to be going north of 150 really on this pitch.
At a minimum, it seems to be sort of a safe area. And he's gone. Lack of bounce again. Seems to be the undoing of all the Windees batters. Hayden Walsh swinging through, expecting a bit more than what was on offer. The ball stayed down while his head was up. Gonna have to have a word with him. For someone that's an avid golfer, you would know to keep your head down over the ball.
Doesn't quite stretch to my crazy golf, but yeah, he's gone top of middle, bails flying in all directions. So 1 to come. Now, what can Kirk Thompson do with this? Final delivery. Well, he swings and he swings hard into the leg side, and they're going to try and come back for 2. It's really good running in the end. They do pick up 2 off the final ball of the innings. So the Windees, in their 20, they make 156 for 8. 2 wickets in that over. The Americans need 157 to win the first game in this tournament, to beat the defending champions in the opening game of Season 2 of the American Premier League. 157. It's not a bad score. 156 on the board, set 157 as a target. We think that's about ballpark, yeah?
It's about ballpark. I think both teams would be happy. If anything, the Americans would probably be the happier of the two teams. Heading back into the dugout, the Windies will know that they have something that they can possibly have a chance to win the game with if they bowl well. Likewise, the Americans, after the start that the Windies had in the power play, did an amazing job to pull it back to only 156, so they'd be happy going in as well, knowing that they've taken a lot of information away bowling on the track and being able to go in and plan, okay guys, this is how we need to bat, and if we execute, all things being equal, we should have a strong chance of winning the game. So it makes for an interesting second half to this game.
Well, that card really, the one to write home about, obviously Sean Finley with that 69. A few contributions in there, and with the ball it was Sabir Rao and Naveen Stewart picking up 3 apiece, and then just the one for Amir Hotak.
Stewart was definitely the pick of the bowlers here today, and if you look at what he did, wicket to wicket, obviously started trying to bowl a few short balls etc. in his first over and a half, but then he realized that wicket to wicket pace off is what was going to serve him best today, and once he started doing that, he reaped the rewards, not only in terms of picking up those 3 wickets, but his economy rate of 5.75, standout of all the bowlers here today.
Well, it was an impressive performance with the bat, really, from the Windies in the end. They set 157 as the target for the Americans to win this game, and now we'll have a short break before we come back for the chase.